Oh, my name is John Dowdle, and we've been milking cows for over 30 years. And we moved to Southland 10 years ago to this particular property. And over the last 10 years, it's developed into, next spring we'll be calving 2,150 cows on three units. This unit here is milking 500 cows, which is the oldest of the three farms, through a 50-bale rotary. The travelling irrigator, the problems we ran into was any system that had to be operated every day on a large-scale farm with staff. You've got issues about who's here. If the person in charge isn't here, someone else didn't shift it, didn't put the stake in the ground properly, pipe came apart overnight, all the different things. We've had all those things go wrong over the years. When we decided what we were doing here just wasn't working as it was, we started looking around for what we might do, what we might be able to do better, and what might be a long-term solution to the problems that we'd had here. First off, I went to water specialists that we'd been using who had designed systems for us, so far as water reticulation systems and whatnot for us already. And we also went to a civil engineer as to all the pond work and things like that, because what we'd sort of found in the past is we'd made sort of piecemeal changes over time to fix each problem we'd run into as they happened, and none of them were long-term solutions. They were all just short-term fixes. So when we were going to spend a lot of money and change it, then we wanted to make sure we got it right. And so through those two people, they helped us design a system that we believed would work long-term. Well, the effluent system we've got set up on this farm now is we have split what was our old effluent pond into two drying beds, and at the front of that we have weeping walls, and the effluent runs through one of those drying beds and the solids stay behind there, and everything else, the water goes through, the green water basically goes through into a large holding pond at the front, which has on this farm about 90 days storage. And then from there is pumped out through a 90mm pipe, which has all been put underground. That's been a big advantage to us too, because it's much safer. We haven't had people running into pipes. Out to 7 hydrants at the moment. When it gets to the paddock, it goes out through 63mm pipe until it gets to the pods, and then I think it drops down to a 45mm pipe. We don't seem to, it's been easy to operate that way. How we operate it at the moment, we shift the system every 24 hours. It's running for 10 minutes an hour every hour, 240 minutes a day. I think that's putting on at the moment about 0.6 of a mil per hour, 15 mils a day going on those areas. And and we've tried to utilise it on as big an area as we possibly could, because it's actually been beneficial to us in managing those paddocks, whereas I guess before we weren't keen to go onto a bigger area than we had to go onto, because we weren't exactly doing the place that we were good sometimes. When we first set the system up, we just left it in the paddock there ready to go on long grass, and the guy did drive straight into one. The first time he went in the paddock, he ran straight over the top of one before he'd seen it. And so, we've had to make sure everybody knows where they are and all the rest of it. But they are easy to see. I know the guy that's on here at the moment shifting them, he's wrapped with it, it's simple for him. Found it really helpful. The fittings you've got with the taps and everything else have been great, because someone can be down there, we don't have to turn the system off, we just turn a tap off while you're shifting one particular line, and the other two stay active. I guess the other thing about the fittings is that they are familiar to everybody, because they're just a normal Hanson fitting which we've used for years, so the staff haven't had any problem tightening them or anything else. They know how to use them and how to put them together if something comes apart. The training that I've had to do with staff to operate this system is nothing compared with what we had to do for the travelling irrigator. But the travelling irrigator sort of set up, the training there was focused around compliance and making sure we didn't have issues with irrigators being stationary and things like that. training with this system has been more focused around utilising the effluent properly. We'll run through the first spring we'll have done with this system next year, and that's when I think it'll really come into its own, being able to be shut down through most of August and September when we have a real problem with having enough labour on farm, and they'll be able to, there's enough storage there to cope with that, and as soon as the weather starts coming right, they can turn it back on and away they go. And that's a huge advantage to the share milkers we're putting in here. They can utilise their labour a wee bit better and not spend quite so much time shifting travelling irrigators. I guess one of the main benefits of this particular system versus others that had ran at higher pressures and so forth and created some issue with odour and things like that drifting onto neighbouring properties, and this system seemed to get away from that. That's your design benefit in your pod there, and so that was something we were really keen on. Maintenance isn't a big deal. We have, like on that first occasion with a pod being run over, it's only a matter of replacing a jet on the top, which is simple enough for any of our staff to do. And we only operate the one pump, which is a very simple centrifugal pump. We haven't got the issues with that getting blocked up with raw effluent and things like that we had in the past. We haven't got an irrigator that's going to need, they're all good when they're brand new, but as our system, after 9 years, we had all sorts of issues with irrigators as they start to wear out. So those things are all gone. What we have also found is something goes wrong with a pod and so forth. It's going through 18 pods or whatever. We don't end up with a great big bloody pond around it or anything else.